observed the Africa Public Service Day earlier on today in Otjiwarongo, the day aimed at celebrating those who work in the public sector. And we are now joined by Iben Nashandi, Executive Director at the Office of the Prime Minister, to share more details on this day. A very good evening to you, Mr. Nashandi, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good evening and good evening, viewers.
So the day that was marked under the theme Enhancing the Resilience of the Public Administration to support and facilitate the realization of Africa's nutritional needs during and post-COVID-19. Can you briefly speak to us on that?
Yes, the Africa Public Service Day is celebrated annually on the 23rd of June of each year. The day is really emanating from the African Union Charter on the values and principles of public service and administration. And Namibia has embraced the aspiration of this charter. Actually, if we go back into the background, even before the adoption of this charter, which was adopted by the AU in 2011, Namibia was among the first countries to ratify this charter, having already actually adopted its own public service charter in Namibia much earlier. So we were already ahead of what the continent was aspiring to do. But what it is aiming to do is really to commemorate the important work that the public servants are doing, especially in championing the public services to the people. And now we are coming from an era where the world was plumbed into the pandemic of COVID-19 with a number of disruption, and therefore it was really necessary for us also to recognize the extraordinary effort that the public servants have done in order to maintain public services to our people. So this day, through this day, we really try to celebrate the important work that is done, and also to appreciate the value that public servants really put in ensuring that our public services are maintained.
Now, as you rightly put it, the world has not been the same, and since the dawn of COVID, work as we know it has never been the same around the world, and the public service sector is no exception. What are some of the mechanisms that have been put in place to not only ensure continuation of work and service delivery, but also to look out for the various needs of employees, be it nutritional, health, and psychosocial support?
Yeah, as you will really appreciate, with the advent of COVID, there are quite a number of disruptions that occurred. The number one disruption was the inability of people to congregate in order to extend work. That was really the first number one challenge. But there was really a need for us to maintain giving work to our people. But we were challenged by the fact that we could not come to work. And therefore, we therefore needed to come up with mechanisms to make sure that we maintain that. And that was among the first aspect that we needed to do, was to accelerate the introduction of technology by adopting e-government services, and also in making sure that the services that needed to be done, if there is technology that to support that service, then we embrace it. So that was among the issues. The second aspect was really to look, how do we then shorten the way we do things? Because public service is known for a terminology called bureaucratic. Bureaucratic means that before a service is extended, there are quite a number of processes through which it undergoes. And therefore, we need to shorten that. And with the aid of technology, we are able to embrace what we call business process engineering, so that we can be able to identify needs and address them and give a solution faster. That does not compromise accountability and transparency, but just to make sure that with the use of technology, you are able to do it. So we were able also, therefore, to entrench the use of technology among the public servants in order for us to maintain the public services. But the other aspect that really also hit us was to say the reliance of our economies on external factors. It was really a big challenge. Even the basic goods such as food became scarce because borders were closing And therefore, we needed really to instill the culture of increasing production at home. Food was scarce, and therefore we needed now as a matter of going forward, because there are also some geopolitics that are coming in, and we will not be able to get all the commodities and goods that we're getting from abroad in the time that we used to get them. And therefore we need also to change the mindset and inculcate that need to say, can we produce our own food? Can we rely on the skills that we have locally to enable us to deliver on the services? We have quite a number of skills locally, be it IT, be it financial and otherwise, but the only way we can do it is if we tap into it and then we start bringing on the services that is required. And that will also be, for us to do that, we need a positive mindset among the public servants. We know that public servants is it can be stressing. The conditions of services needed to be improved. We also need to recognize that when people are working, they need to be appreciated. And these are some of the efforts that we are trying to do by also celebrating this day so that we can tell the public servant to say, you are doing very good. If it was not for you, this country would have been plunged into darkness by COVID. But that has not happened because of the commitment of the public servants.
So in closing, Mr. Nashandi, perhaps share with us some of the notable changes that the public sector has undergone amidst the pandemic.
As I've indicated, and this is also quite notable in the Harambee Prosperity Plan, that we need to accelerate the introduction of e-government services. We have seen that quite a number of ministries, offices and agencies have embarked on that aspect. So we are now trying to transform the way we deliver services from manual to technology. We are using technology to deliver services. If we had actually a parallel exhibition that was taking place today as part of the commemoration, and through that exhibition we were able to appreciate quite a number of reforms that are undertaken. There are ministries that have developed online services. We have seen also that there are also ministries that have adopted the use of technology. For example, if we have flood-prone areas and we need to map them, the use of drones have become a norm in government, so that we are able also to identify who are the people that are strapped, and so that we can also accelerate the relief efforts that are required. So this
Mr.
is
Nashandi, thank you.
But the other, please, thank you.
Sorry, due to time, we can't engage much further. Thank you so much, Mr. Nashandi. That was Iben Nashandi, Executive Director at the Office of the Prime Minister, talking to us about the Africa Public Service Day.